Hi, welcome to my first video on special right triangles, and the triangle that I'm working with today is the 30, 60, 90 triangle. And this is part 1, deriving the sides n, 2n, and n root 3. Okay, turn it over. So what I have is I'm looking at the 30, 60, 90 triangle in relation to the sides. So what I have here is a triangle. I'm going to label it triangle A, B, C. And this triangle is going to be equilateral. An equilateral triangle. That means that all the angles are 60 degrees in an equilateral because all the sides are equal. All the angles are equal. So 180 divided by 3 which is 60 each. And all the sides are equal, so equilateral triangle, I'm going to name each side 2n, 2n, 2n. Each side is 2n because all the sides are equal. Now what I'm going to do is draw from A, I'm going to drop an altitude, what we call an altitude from A down to BC, cutting or intersecting BC at D. This is point D right here. Now, when you drop an altitude down, then the altitude splits the base into two equal pieces, but I'm going to do a little proof on that. When I drop this altitude down, an altitude hits right angle, so this is a right angle. These two angles here, ADC and ADB, are both right angles, so those angles are equal. Since those two angles are 60, then those two angles are equal. So this side is common to both triangles. AD is in triangle ADC and ADB. That means that the triangle ADC and triangle ADB, these two triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side. There are other ways to prove it, but this is the way I'm going. So that means I have two congruent triangles. That means that this segment, DC, is equal to DB. So if they're equal, if the total side is 2n, that means that n and n are these two sides, because if they're equal, it's split in half, n and n. So that's going to help me. So in this triangle, I'm going to draw this new triangle now. So notice also that if this is a 90-degree angle, this is a 60-degree angle, that means this angle right here is 30, because there's 180 degrees in triangle ADC, and this angle is 30, because this triangle is a 90, 60, and 30 makes 180, so these two angles are equal. So let's go back to this triangle that we call ADC. So this side we said was 2n, this side is n. Based on that, then I'm going to get the length of AD in terms of n. So we have a right triangle, so c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, the Pythagorean property. So c is the hypotenuse opposite the right angle, so that's 2n. So that's the hypotenuse c. And a is n. And this other side, we will call it, it don't make any difference, we can call it b if we want. So 2n squared is 2n times 2n is 4n squared. So let's call this side b. And so that's 4n squared minus n squared. I'm leaving my b squared there. So b squared, 4 minus 1 is 3n squared. So let's go up right here. So that means b is equal to the square root 3n squared. So b is equal to n root 3, because the square root of n squared is n, and we can't do the square root of 3. So this side here is n root 3 by using the Pythagorean property. So, that be the case, this is the triangle that I'll use throughout the 30, 60, 90. You see me use this one over and over and over. It says fill in the table with the correct values. So let's pick out in this triangle n, 2n, and n root 3. So notice opposite the right angle is 2n. So that means this side here is 2n. Opposite the 30 is n, so that's n. So this side is 2n. So notice opposite the 90 is 2n, opposite the 30 is n, opposite the 60 is n root 3. So that means in this triangle, n is 1, 2n is 2, and n root 3 is root 3. This is, I gotta go. See, did it again. This side is n root 3. Opposite 60 is n root 3. So n root 3 is the root 3. Number 2, n is opposite to 30. So that's the n, that's the 2n. And again, this is n root 3. So we're just picking them out. So what's n? N is 4. What's 2n? 8. And what's n root 3 is 4 root 3. So all I'm doing is getting you used to picking out what the values are opposite the angles. Again, in this number 3, opposite 30, there's 30, opposite, that's the n. Opposite to 60 is, this is n root 3, and opposite to 90 is 2n. So in this triangle, n is root 2, 2n is 2 root 2, and opposite 60 is n root 3 is root 6. So notice, I just repeat, opposite 30 is n, opposite 60 is n root 3, opposite 90 is 2n. Let's look at number 4. Again, we have opposite 30 is n. Opposite, oops, that's a 90 there, forgot to put that in, 90, this is 2n, and opposite 60 is n root 3. So, n is root 3, 2n right here is 2 root 3, and n root 3 is 3. So that's picking out the sides based on this triangle. And it's imperative that you remember this. So opposite 30 degree angle in a right triangle, opposite the 30 is n. Opposite the 90 is 2n. Opposite 60 is n root 3. And you notice that this hypotenuse is twice as long as the side opposite the 30. So they call this the short side. This is the hypotenuse, and this is the long side. So this is, again, this is the HYP. That's the hypotenuse. This is the short side. And this is what they call the long side. So it's another way some teachers might explain it. So it's n, opposite 30, 2n, opposite the hypotenuse, and n root 3, opposite the 60. So when I write it down, I always, and when I draw it, I always put, I look for 30 and I put n across. I look for 90, put 2n, so I put n, and then the hypotenuse is twice that, and the long leg is root 3 times n. The imperative to remember this diagram. Learn it, memorize it. We're going to use it over and over and over. If you like my video, click the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.